Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. And kind of want to just do a follow up on the two missing kids in Idaho, Joshua Vallow and Tylee Ryan, who remain missing. And according to the authorities, the police, I think, are getting quite frustrated with the parents who, to the best of my knowledge, are missing too. They don't seem to have a location on them. They haven't spoken directly with them. I think they've tried to speak to their attorney, but it's not totally clear. This is the East Idaho News, and some of the latest reporting it says the mother of missing kids knows where they are or what happened to them, the police say. And if I could just quickly cruise through this. And personally, I believe these kids are alive and okay. I mean, I could be wrong about that, and I hope I'm not. I hope I'm right. I really do. But that's my thought, and I do have a working theory on some of the stuff that's going on. There's so many different elements between, her previous two husbands having been killed in the last 2 years, 2018. I don't know if that was her first husband or what. And then her most recent husband, Charles Vallow, was just killed in July of 2019, just this summer, by her brother, who supposedly killed him in self-defense when Charles Vallow came over to her house, and they got into a physical confrontation. I think he reportedly had a bat or came at him with a bat, and he shot him twice in the chest. Her brother, who then died himself, and we don't even know the circumstances of his death. That is not reported anywhere. Alex Cox, her brother, he died on December 12th, the day after Chad Vallow's wife, Tammy Daybell, his body was exhumed on December 11th. His wife, Chad Daybell's wife, died on October 19th in her sleep. This is her obituary right there. Okay, and I do have a sort of a working theory, or just a variety of questions, and they focus on one specific element of this, and some of the timing of everything is still not totally clear to me in terms of like when she met Charles Vallow. I believe Joshua was adopted when he was 1 year old. And he carries his his adopted father's name, Charles Vallow's name, but she was married to her first husband, Tylee's father. I forget his name. His last name is Ryan. As early as or as late as 2018. He only died in 2018 of a heart attack. So she's only been married to Charles Vallow, beyond that time. So I don't know how long Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow knew each other prior to them being married. And did they know each other in the time that she was still married to Tylee's father, if you follow me? And Tylee's father died of a heart attack, supposedly, and his body was cremated. I assume that Charles Vallow's body was buried, and I think they're looking into his death, I believe, as well as her brother's death, that again, like I said, was on December 12th, the day after Chad Daybell's wife's body was exhumed on December 11th. Basically, what I am wondering, the first thing that pops in my head is I was wondering if this isn't some kind of life insurance thing, and essentially, I was wondering if Chad Daybell's wife, who died on October 19th, Tammy Daybell, as well as Lori Vallow's husband, who died on, I think, July 11th or 10th, who was killed by her brother. I was wondering if those two weren't sick, weren't like terminally ill, and if their deaths were, I don't know how would I know? But I just that's the thought I had, or the questions I had is, were their spouses terminally ill, sick, and the life insurance aspects of that, because of that, does that have something to do with all this? I don't know. I mean, that was my question. And so if I could just quickly, I'm just kind of getting right to the point. We'll take a look at some of the stuff that the reason some of these questions linger for me, definitely. And, there's just a lot I don't know. So I naturally do not mean any disrespect to any of these people, any of their families, so. But anyways, many people have inquired. This is with regards to the police's frustration with the parents, and they believe that the mother knows where the missing kids are or what happened to them. My guess is they believe they know where they are. That's what my guess is what the police believe, that the mom knows where they are. I don't know, and probably thinks she's with them, and they don't know where she is. I mean, that's what I would guess. Investigators say the mother of two missing children know their location or what happened to them, and they are not, and that they are not with her or her husband or her new husband. Okay, well, I just take that back. I stand corrected. In a Rexburg police Department news release, detectives revealed new information Monday about the case and pleaded for Lori Vallow, Daybell, and Chad Daybell to do the right thing and come forward with the information they have about 7-year-old Joshua Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan, both children of Lori Daybell, who have not been seen since September. We know that the children are not with Lori and Chad Daybell. And we also have information indicating that Lori knows either the location of the children or what has happened to them, the release says. Despite having this knowledge, she has refused to work with law enforcement to help us resolve this matter. It is astonishing that rather than work with law enforcement to help us locate her own children, Lori Vallow has chosen instead to leave the state with her new husband. So she's left Idaho, apparently. On December 20th, investigators announced their search for Joshua and Tylee and said their disappearance is possibly related to the October 19th suspicious death of Tammy Daybell, Chad Daybell's former wife. Lori Daybell's former husband, Charles Vallow, was shot and killed July 11th in Arizona. Police say Lori's brother, Alexander Cox, pulled the trigger. Cox died December 12th. Cox is her brother, like I said. And investigators are still looking into his death. We have no idea how Alexander Cox died, at all. We are aware that in the weeks after Tammy Daybell's death, Lori Vallow, Daybell, and Chad Daybell told witnesses that Lori's daughter had died a year before the death of her father, which is untrue, the news release says. Around the same time, Chad told another witness that Lori had no minor children. It's so odd, Police strongly believe Joshua and Tylee are in danger, and investigators say they have taken every step available to them, including executing multiple search warrants, interviewing multiple sources, and running down every lead. Many people have inquired as to why we have not filed charges yet in the case. Our primary concern at this point is simply locating Joshua and Tylee, the news release states. Charging decisions will be made in due course based upon the evidence available. The Daybells have been labeled persons of interest in connection to the disappearance of the children, but have not been charged. Their attorney, Sean Bartholick, did not return immediate requests for comment money, but in a statement to East Idaho News on December 23rd, said Chad Daybell was a loving husband and has the support of his children in this matter. Lori Daybell is a devoted mother and resents assertions to the contrary. We look forward to addressing the allegations once they have moved beyond speculation and rumor. Please ask anyone with information on the children's whereabouts to immediately contact them and made a public appeal for help from Chad and Lori. All right, so that's that whole, just to kind of go through all that, and just remains unknown. I mean, Chad Daybell he has 5 adult children, or 5 children, that are fairly grown. Some married with, with grandchildren. I noticed on Facebook, many of the family members of the Daybells, they don't have their friends, exposed. Including Tammy Daybell. It's very possible her husband, had access to her account, whatever. But her death was supposedly unexpected. She died in her sleep. So I don't know. Normally that would be, your own person that removes that changes that setting. Some people have that setting on that way all the time, but most don't. Most, the default is to have your friends shown. But in her own account, Tammy Daybell's own account, the friends are concealed. I mean, this is, I think, a recent photo of her and Tammy Daybell. And to me, that picture, I immediately felt as if she, that's somebody that to me appeared to be sick. That's not. It's just an opinion. So. But that is what went into my brain for sure, and that's where some of these other, these thoughts. I had these thoughts before I kind of started looking into this, about the life insurance aspect of it, and is there some kind of insurance angle to this, and was she terminally ill? I don't know, but that was the question I had. And when I was looking at and there's not many photos of like Charles Vallow. I mean, they have this photo, which was in cold cases, Idaho cold cases. This is there's not many, and there's not many photos of Lori Vallow as well. And supposedly he was 63 when he died. And actually in his obituary photos, and I think there's 2 different ones. There's one there. He looks a little closer to 63, from 1956 to 2019. So that is, that's 63 years old. So I don't know when this photo is, but they could have only been married from sometime beyond 2018, because her first husband, before Charles Vallow, Tylee Ryan's father, died in 2018. I suspect this photo is prior to that, and that they knew each other or had a relationship before her first husband died. I don't know. But, obviously he goes from here to having no hair, And in other photos, here's another one, and I don't know how, that looks even further back than the other one. He has a receding hairline, but, he has a pretty full head of hair there. And, and some dudes eventually, shave their head if they're just going bald to a certain extent. But again, there's another photo too of where he's right there. This is, I think, his obituary photo. I'm not sure where he's completely bald. So I don't know. It was just, I was, again, same thing. Was I wondering, was he sick? Was he terminally ill? And and when he was killed, and was there a life insurance element to that fact? And so that's my wonder. And was the death kind of staged, to be an intentional death, that would avoid that, a terminal illness aspect to it. So that's where I'm at, and I don't know where, I don't know how, if, let's say I'm right, and I have no idea if I am, I don't know how the first husband's death plays into it, nor how the brother's death plays into it, and we don't even know how the brother died, the brother who supposedly shot Charles Vallow in the chest in self-defense. Supposedly the story was they were going through a separation, Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow, and that he was going over to pick up his kids, at a house where she was living, and her brother was there, and the 2 kids were there. Those were the 4 people present, and that he got in an altercation with the brother, and supposedly came at him with a bat or something, and the brother shot him twice in the chest, and he died. So, but you have two different spouses. I mean, basically, my theory is, did you have two couples, each with a terminally ill spouse, who die close to each other in time wise, and then end up marrying themselves? And my question was, Charles Vallow terminally ill, and was Tammy Daybell terminally ill? I mean, these some of these pictures on the Facebook page of Tammy Daybell, and these two photos here are supposedly within a month of each other. June 9th and June 30th of 2019, and people post photos that aren't necessarily in the moment, and they're from a previous time, on a certain day, and so it's hard to compare. But it just seemed as though those are two completely. They weren't from the same time. They weren't from a month ago. This looks like they're older than they are here. And I don't know. It's just more to questions to what I was thinking. That's the story there, dude. That's the story there. I hope, in the end, I think the authorities are going to figure out what's going on one way or another, whether it's what I think or something else. And I hope I'm right. I think I feel I think the kids are alive. And even if they're not with with the mother, that's my feeling. But I don't know, and we'll see. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.